All right, hello and welcome to the Comic Book Communicast, the official podcast of the Google Plus comic book community. This is issue number 1 for the week of September 4th, 2013. I'm Justin Beeson and joined by Paul Christopher.
How you doing?
Each episode we take a look at a few comics from this week and what we couldn't wait to read first, as well as talk about some of the community content and last week's pick of the week. But this episode, we are going to start off by talking to our illustrious leader, Mr. Charles Dowd.
Hi, guys.
All right, Charles has his webcomic that he recently launched a Kickstarter for to put into print. So
Awesome.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's called Lilith Dark. The Kickstarter just started yesterday. We're already 50% of the way there. We just crossed that about an hour ago, so it's doing really well. Thank you. It's doing great so far. The story, it's Lilith Dark is a little girl. She has like a crazy imagination, and there's monsters living in a tree across the street, and she ends up fighting them. And it's kind of like the concept behind it was, I wanted to come up with a story, for my daughter who was 7 at the time I started creating it. So that's what I did. It's kind of like a Ben 10 kind of thing for, with a girl, I guess you could say.
Awesome. So I was going to ask you this, but from your first email you answered this, but while you're running the Kickstarter, you're still going to be updating your pages weekly, or you do it twice a week, right?
Once a week, every Wednesday.
Okay, once a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for right.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, for the next 4 weeks or so, for the duration of the campaign, I'm actually going to be posting the page updates on the Kickstarter page because I'm sneaky. And you have to. You can't just go to the website anymore. Now you have. So no, I don't want anybody to say in 5 weeks, say, "Oh, I didn't know." You knew. You just didn't want to give me any money. I'm calling you out.
So no, 4 weeks.
Sorry. Uh-oh. Whose phone was that? Okay. So I was going to ask, because Comixology recently launched their independent publishers thing, kind of like Amazon has got the direct to ebook publishing. Have you looked at that? Have you considered that at all? Is that a possibility for you?
I actually was looking into that myself, but in the last couple of weeks I actually signed a deal with Alterna Comics, and they're going to be releasing Lilith Dark once we get once the funding is in place. They're going to be helping me to get it out and actually distribute it through Diamond. It's going to be available in the spring of next year, the complete graphic novel, and it's also going to be available on their page through Comixology. So that's
cool.
all good. We're working on all of that right now. I'm hoping that will be available on Comixology within the next month or so. It takes a couple of weeks to get stuff through Comixology. They're a little backed up right now since they opened up the submit service. So it's like a 30 to 60 day waiting period. But as soon as they're available, I'll spam your guys' stream constantly for at least a week, so you'll know about it.
Absolutely.
So the print version, is it going to be it's going to be the issues? Is there going to be any extra content in there besides the pages?
Well, for the graphic novel, there's probably there's going to be a couple extra pages. Some of the pages, the earlier pages, are going to be redone a little bit. There's a couple pages from the first issue in particular. Maybe I could have spent a couple more extra minutes on. So I'll go back and fix all of that up, recolor a couple things. If we get to the color stretch goal on the Kickstarter, that is. And just kind of, I guess we'll call it the director's cut version for the graphic novel. So it'll be bigger, it'll be better, it'll be complete. You won't have to wait 6 months in between issues like you do now. It's tough being a one-man show. So
yeah, definitely. Now and then as far as like the extra pages, are you going to include that Sandy Hook Memorial page in there?
That's really cool that you saw that and that you know that. Thank you for seeing that. I don't think I'm going to include that page. I don't want anybody to think that I don't want to profit from it. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to. I put that up for a reason. You know, it's fine where it is. I want everybody to see it. I don't want to make any money off of that.
Cool.
It's kind of a personal thing. I just wanted to do it and get it out there.
Right. And then, so when you're doing the web comic, I was kind of curious, what's the creative process like for doing that versus a normal comic? Do you still do script and then pencils and then color, or do you kind of plot and then do the rest as you go along since it's weekly?
Well, the way I do it is Lilith Dark it's a long form story, just like most traditional comics are. So I'm actually working from a full script that may or may not be completed at the time I start drawing. The way I kind of write, since I'm doing everything myself with this story at least, is I kind of write it through the thumbnailing process in my sketchbook. I've got like a small 6x6 sketchbook, and I'm just thumbnailing away like, well, this should happen here, and then this. That's how I work it out rather than with actual text and script. Maybe it's just because I'm an artist first, I suppose. But yeah, once I get all that worked out, sorry, that's my dog Perry. you have to excuse him. He's obnoxious. So where was I? Yeah, but I script it out, and then I actually draw it digitally through the Manga Studio program. And it's basically what that allows me to do is kind of take the pencils and the inks and combine that into one step. So it speeds me up. Cool. So I don't have to wait 12 months in between issues, only 6 months to get it all done.
Great. And then you'll be at this upcoming Baltimore Comic-Con, which is the 7th and the 8th?
Yeah, this weekend coming up, I'll be there at table A120 in Artist Alley. Definitely, I want everybody to stop by. You're going to be there, Paul, right?
I'm going to be there. Bring my son.
Awesome.
That's
we'll
cool.
Get some pictures and put them up in the community.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. This will be my first comic book convention.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Great.
Hey,
I love being guys first.
So, who are your heroes as far as comic book artists go?
I've always been more attracted to the guys with kind of the weirder styles. I really love Sam Keith. When I first started collecting off of the spinner rack in our local convenience store, that's how long ago it was. I don't think they have those anymore. But this was like the early 90s. I would pick up Sam Keith's Marvel Comics Presents issues where he was doing Wolverine and Ghost Rider covers. I was just blown away from the first time I saw those. I loved them. I've been following him ever since. And a lot of the stuff he does now is so abstract and it's really artistic, not so much trying. He's not doing Marvel House style at all.
Right.
He's doing his own thing, and I love that about him. It's also the reason, he doesn't sell as much as Jim Lee might sell, but from an artist's point of view, I love his work. A guy like Dave McKeon is fantastic. He did most of the Sandman covers, if not all of them. He's actually like a fine artist.
Yeah.
And just to see his approach to comics, and it's just something so different than what you normally see. That's the kind of stuff I like.
What about like Bernie Wrightson or Bill Sikowitz? I think it was.
Yeah, Sikowitz, definitely.
Cool.
Well, cool. Everybody. And then the website for the Kickstarter is lilithdart.com/Kickstarter, right? That'll put you right to the page. Awesome.
I set that up special.
So everybody should definitely check that out.
I'm going there right now on my iPad.
Nice. You can get a digital copy of the graphic novel for a $5 pledge, right? And then the actual physical copy, I think, is only $20.
Yeah, it's $5. You can get the full book as a PDF, $20 gets you the book. The thing I don't like about a lot of Kickstarters is I go there and I'm like, I just want to get the book, dude. Don't give me 1,000 rewards that are all crazy. So I wanted to make sure that at least one reward on mine was just get the book. So that you get the book, and then I'll send you the PDF version too on top of it, and you get your name in the back of the book on the thank you page. It's only $20. I mean, you can't beat it. That's including shipping.
And is that level signed by you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll sign everything. The rare ones are the ones I don't sign.
Yep.
And what are some of the other what are some of the other couple unique perks that you're offering?
I do these things if anybody's follows me on Google Plus, they've probably seen that I do a lot of the avatar portraits is what I call them. I'm actually selling those right through the Kickstarter right now. So if you hate my comic and you want nothing to do with it, that's fine. But you love my avatar, you can get it through the Kickstarter and help support me and get it knocked out, and I'll forgive you for hating the comic. I'm also doing commissions through there, so I'm doing character commissions. So if you want a Spider-Man or whoever your favorite character is, everybody loves Loki now. I'll do a Loki for you. You can get that, and you would get the book. It's only $100.
Cool.
And that would be a full color illustration. I'd send it right out to you. I was doing be a hero commission where I would draw your kid as a superhero, but that just sold out tonight. I might add some more of that. More of that. Let's see how it goes. But the one I really like is for $1,000, I will drive to your house and give you the book, and we'll go out for burgers.
Awesome.
That sounds like a deal.
But it's limited to 3, so you better act fast.
All right. All right. Well, everybody definitely check out that lilithdark.com/Kickstarter, and then obviously lilithdark.com, where you can see up through 3.5 issues basically right now.
Yeah, pretty much. That's where we're at. Yeah.
The graphic novel will be 6 issues, correct?
Yes, 6 full issues.
Great. So yeah, everybody check that out. And now we'll switch to going over our comics. And Charles hasn't read any comics this week, but he's going to stick around and listen to us talk and add some snarky comments here and there.
I'll make fun of what you're reading.
Charles will be the peanut gallery this evening.
All right. Paul, why don't you go ahead and start us off with what are the comics that you pulled this week?
Oh, man, what did I pull this week? Crap. I pulled... Why don't you start while I find...
Okay, well, I'll start. I have a long list, and I have it all written right here. So.
Oh, here we go. I got it.
Okay, you go ahead then.
All right. So I got Hit from Boom Studios. That just looked interesting, so I picked it up. It's like this... it takes place in the same time period as L.A. Noire and Gangster Squad and Mulholland Falls. Very cool. Suicide Risk number 5. Justice League, or Darkseid number 1, Justice League 23.1, Batman, The Dark Knight, 23.1, Forever Evil number 1, The Bunker number 2. The Bunker is freaking awesome. I'm not going to talk about that today, but you should definitely be reading that.
We will definitely get to that at some point in this.
Yeah. Batman 23.1. Batman Black and White, which I didn't even realize was coming out, so that was a nice surprise. And Batman and Robin 23.1. Those are my polls for this week.
Cool, all right. Let's see, I got all new X-Men, Batman Joker, Batman and Robin Two-Face, Batman Black and White, Deadpool kills Deadpool, Forever Evil, God is Dead, which I'm going to be talking about, Green Lantern, Relic, Infinity, Superior Spider-Man, Trillium, and X-Men Battle of the Atom. So for my first pick, I want to talk about God is Dead. It's a new limited series from Jonathan Hickman and Mike Costa. This immediately caught my attention because basically it's about all of the ancient gods coming back to the world. So, Zeus, Thor, Odin, Anubis, some Indian gods, all those ancient gods, and I'm always a sucker for those kind of stories, like kind of like if you ever read Neil Gaiman's American Gods.
That's exactly
like
what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's like that or T. Jackson series. However, this one, the gods come back and just destroy everything. They wreak havoc, just to kind of show everyone that they're there, and it's big. I mean, it feels like an event comic, even though it's a little self-contained universe. The art's pretty great. It's a lot of spreads and big panels, but it kind of fits with the theme of having gods walking the earth, and it just kind of runs you through. This first issue is a really good first issue. It shows the setup of the gods coming in and like the little inklings of the forming of the resistance. And yeah, it's definitely something I'll be following. And it's only a limited series, which is great because I'm a little lukewarm on Hickman sometimes because he takes a long time to develop things. But this is 6 issues and it's done, so I'm in it for it.
Awesome.
Oh, and the one thing is it's on Avatar Press, and they only are in print, so you cannot get this digitally. You have to go to your local comic shop and pick it up.
Might finally get me off my couch then and down to my local. It sounds interesting. I really wanted to check it out. I was reading about it, and I was looking forward to Comixology. Now I know why I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it was really good.
It sounds awesome. What is it? What issue is it on now?
This is the first issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is the first issue of 6.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds cool.
definitely check it out. All right, Paul, what was your first book?
My first book is, hang on, here we go, Suicide Risk, number 5. If you're not reading this, you really should be. This is not your typical superhero deconstruction. The whole idea is that people get their power via drugs. Like there's like these 2 drug dealers going around, and you pay them, they hit you with this magic wand, and then you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what power you're going to end up with. And the main thrust of the story is there's this one guy, he's like a regular, ordinary police officer, and he watches like his whole SWAT team get wiped out battling these supervillains. That's the other thing, too, is like even people who start out as heroes seem to end up as villains at some point for whatever reason. They go crazy, whatever. And so he watches like his entire team get wiped out, and he's like, this is enough. We can't do anything to these people. So he goes and he gets powered up, and it's kind of following his story from there on out, except for this issue. This issue out of nowhere has absolutely nothing to do with the storyline we've been following up to this point. I'm not sure what is going on. I mean, it was a good issue. I enjoyed it. It was like the backstory of this villainess and all, but and I really enjoyed it. But I'm like, wait, what happened to what we've been following up to this point? It's like I want to know what's going on with our guy here. So, but still, it was a good issue. It was a good series. It's got good art, great writing, and you should absolutely pick it up.
Yeah, it does sound interesting. All right, so my second pick.
It's a good lesson for kids. It's a good lesson for kids too, because drugs give you power.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's kind of like did you guys read
Supervillain?
Did you guys read Polarity?
No.
At all? It was from Max Bemis, who's the singer of the band Say Anything. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Anyways, there's a little mini where he's bipolar, but his bipolar gives him superpowers, and he triggers that superpower by doing cocaine.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, so my second, which is really my second and third pick because it was 2 parts to the first of the event, was the X-Men Battle of the Atom #1 and then All New X-Men #16, which is Bendis' next Marvel event. And, after Age of Ultron, he's got a little bit to prove.
Another one already?
Yeah, well, I mean, so Marvel started 2 events this week, which is crazy.
AVX hasn't ended yet, has it?
Yeah, I mean, this is all basically an extension of it, yeah. So, I mean, he starts us off, and it was okay. It didn't start off with a huge bang, like you're kind of thrown into the middle of the action, but it felt like Bendis was trying to write it for new readers, And at this point, where the X-Men are and all the continuity and stuff, it's just kind of pointless because you'll still be lost if you haven't been reading X-Men since Avengers versus X-Men. So it's just kind of like, all right, get past the first part. Once you got into the all-new X-Men 16, that's when things started to get going. It was pretty good, and there's a pretty substantial twist at the end that I will not spoil because it's kind of like I'm still trying to figure out like how they're gonna explain it. So, but I mean, you're gonna read it if you're following X-Men, and if you're following any X-Men, you really should read it because this will affect the future of the continuity.
What is the general idea behind what's the general idea behind
Okay.
the storyline?
So in Avengers vs. X-Men, Cyclops kind of goes crazy because he was affected by the Phoenix Force. Lots of stuff happens. The all-new X-Men, which launched one of the Marvel Now launch books, brought basically the kid X-Men from the past. So Scott, Jean, Bobby, Hank. I'm missing somebody, and they brought him back to the past to kind of like help them convince Scott what he's doing is wrong. So now the Battle of the Atom is these young X-Men have been in current time for a while. X-Men from the future come back and say, hey, you got to send them back, otherwise something crazy is going to happen. And the X-Men from the future is Iceman, who's now like basically an ice golem, Kitty, Beast, Deadpool, and then a mystery X-Men who is revealed at the end of all new X-Men, and I don't want to ruin that. But if you're following X-Men, definitely read it. If not, you have some backstory reading before you can start this event.
This sounds
good thing we have Wikipedia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It sounds an awful lot like the way they introduced Bishop way back when. Because his whole thing was he comes back with this dire warning from the future of oh my gosh, there's apocalypse is coming and I have to find out who the traitor is and all that.
Yeah, it's familiar, but it's it's fresh enough to where it was good. Yeah. It was a good read.
Yeah.
So what was your second pick?
The second pick is Batman 23.1 with the Joker, and
is that cover 3D on your iPad?
It is not 3D on the iPad. Yeah,
I have the 3D one right here.
There it is. Ooh, that is
shiny.
Really nice. Did you have to do any sort of bargains with the devil to get that?
No, because I put in my order, a month ago or so or whatever, and they ordered enough to get it for me. But when I picked it up, there was a guy in there who was really bummed that he didn't get any of them because he didn't specifically say. He just thought that they would pull the titles from, the stuff on his pull list.
Right. Ouch. Yeah.
Yep.
I went through that in the 90s. I'm not doing it again. I don't care. I realize it's pretty to look at, but whatever, man.
Yeah. So what'd you think of it?
It was good. The art was pretty good. The story. All right. So it's the story was good. All right, but it's a Joker origin story, and as far as I'm concerned, the Killing Joke was it. That is the definitive Joker origin story. Don't even bother. Just leave it alone. You can't top that. Kind of like Year One. It's like that's Batman's origin story. Anything else is just pretending. But I'll give it to them because the Joker in the Killing Joke even specifically says sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes I remember it the other. And I think that's when you have a character like the Joker, you cannot nail down a specific origin story because that takes away from him. Kind of like when they finally gave Wolverine an origin story, that really kind of diminished the character in my eyes.
I agree. I actually got a chance to read this one too, and I just couldn't take. Basically, he's raising a gorilla as a kid, as a twisted little Joker kid, but the way they characterize him as having affection for this gorilla, which, one, I can't see Joker having affection for anything. Two, definitely not an animal.
Yeah.
and I don't know, the way they characterize it, it bugged me.
We shouldn't be allowed too much into the Joker's thought process, or if we are, it shouldn't be rational. It should be more like Arkham Asylum, the Arkham Asylum graphic novel.
Morrison, yeah.
Yeah, Serious House on Serious Earth. If you're going to portray the Joker's inner thought process, it should look like that.
Agreed. So what?
But it's better with monkeys.
Yeah, apparently that's what he thought. This was Andy Kubert too, who's done pretty good stuff in the past, right? Or am I thinking of his brother? Because there's two of them. There's Andy Kubert and there's Adam
Joe.
Joker. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, so Forever Evil Villain start real quick. What's your initial impression of DC's big event?
Okay, so I read so here's the thing. All right, so the what was it? Batman and Robin 23.1 with Two-Face completely contradicts Forever Evil #1.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did they not figure this out when they were hashing out the stories? Completely contradicts. That being said, I really liked the way they did Lex Luthor in Forever Evil #1. I generally like the way that they handle Luthor when they have him kind of like in this gray area, and I really liked him in this one. But I actually liked the again going back to the Two-Face one. I really liked that because they really created this sense of like desperation. You know, the sense of like this is a world without heroes. Like everybody is on their own. You know, and everywhere is danger. You know. Everybody's talking about how they're hungry and there's no power and there's no food and all, and it was like they really got that sense through the comic, and I really felt like, wow, you know, this is like a big deal, and so I'm not going to collect all of them. I'll collect the ones that run through the titles that I already collect. But
same here.
So far, I think that they're making it sufficiently epic in scope and feeling. Like it feels like, you know, you can feel that, you know, the heroes are missing, and what the results of that are.
Yeah, I thought the Forever Evil, I thought that was pretty good, a pretty good start. Like I liked what was going on. The one shots that I read, nothing really blew me away.
Yeah.
That I've read so far. I haven't read all of them, and I won't read all of them, but, you know, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you read the one with Two-Face?
Yeah, I did. I liked it, and I like how Tomasi writes Two-Face. He definitely really shows the conflicting nature of his two personalities really well.
Yeah. The Batgirl one was good as well.
I did not read that one.
Yeah, that one was good.
Cool. So, that's it for this week's comics. Now we'll talk about last week's pick of the week, which was Thor: God of Thunder #12. Jason Aaron just finished the epic opening arc at issue 11, so this was kind of like an epilogue. Charles, did you read Thor at all? This new one?
I haven't read any of it, but I mean, people are going nuts for it. I know that. I should probably pick it up and trade it.
It's really good. Yeah, no, it's really good, and it's a great. I mean, even if you don't read Marvel, not familiar with it at all, it's a great standalone story because all you really need to know about it is that, Thor is a Norse god, and that's it. He doesn't really interact with the rest of the Marvel universe, and it's just this epic story, hunting down this god butcher that's killing gods, and then what all that entails. But this issue was really cool because it basically showed what Thor does after a big battle, how he unwinds from it, and how he does that is he goes to Earth. So it just kind of shows his interactions with, normal people. He brings a death row inmate his final meal, which is some rare fruit from a planet that's gone. He brings rare seeds to nuns, and then he visits Jane Foster, which is a really great scene. All I know about her character is from watching the movie, and Jason Aaron he makes you feel the history between the two of them in just those, I think it's like 6 pages. That's just sure. It's really good. Definitely recommend picking that up. And I mean, I would say out of all the picks of the week, I think Thor has been like 5 times, or out of 12 issues, I think 5 of them have gotten chosen for pick of the week in the community.
It's pretty consistent. I mean, people are really high on Thor right now. It's like Thor, Saga, and Hawkeye. That's all I ever hear about.
Yep, definitely.
Are you collecting Saga?
I definitely am. I haven't read the last one yet. I still got to pick that up. I usually get to my local shop like once a month or so.
Yeah.
I've been a little busy the last couple of weeks, so I'm a little bit
Of
behind.
course.
Understandably.
I've got that waiting for me, though. I can't wait to get into it because they took the whole summer off, and I'm just like sitting here. I'll probably have 2 issues by the time I get down there.
Yeah, those. I mean, you can pretty much recommend those 3 titles to anybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's about all the time we have. Just a reminder that you can go look at Charles' Kickstarter for Lilith Dark at lilithdark.com/Kickstarter. Be at Baltimore Comic Con 7th and 8th, drawing, doing all kinds of things. And then
hanging out with Paul.
That's right.
There it goes. Make sure if you're going to the Comic Con, make sure you go find him and take a picture and upload it to the community.
Definitely.
Communicast,
Table A120.
there you go. The Communicast home on the web is #Communicast on Google Plus and in the community, and our website is cbcpodcast.tumblr.com. You can find all our episodes. Well, there'll be only 2 now, but there'll be more in the future. And then it has links to RSS subscriptions. We're on iTunes now, downloads, any links that we mentioned, and all of that. Charles, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. You guys are doing a great job with this, by the way. I love it.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, man.
I mean, credit where it's due. I mean, this is awesome, and people like it. It's great for the community. You guys are doing an awesome job. Thank you very much for doing this.
Well, thank you for starting the community.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just dumb luck. You got.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, we lost him. Perfect timing, I guess, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for this week. We will see you next week.
See you next week.